Throughout the many years I have been gaming, I play a variety of fighting game series, such as King of Fighters, Street Fighter, Tekken, Dead or Alive, Soul Calibur, Guilty Gear, Bloody Roar, and of course Virtua Fighter. However, when it comes to 3D fighting games, I mostly grew up playing Tekken 3 and Bloody Roar 2 on the PlayStation 1. While I had the chance to play Virtua Fighter every now and then, every time I was nearby the arcades, it was not until I got a PlayStation 2 when I started playing the series more. After 9 years that we have not seen a console release of the series, the last one being Virtua Fighter 5 Final Showdown for the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360, it was one of the first games I recorded on my channel, especially since it was given away for free as a PlayStation Plus title when it released on the PlayStation 3 back in 2012. However, it is unfortunate that we didn't see any other releases after that one throughout the years. Not even an online remaster collection of the previous titles, similar to the Street Fighter collection that released in 2018 for PC, PlayStation 4, Xbox, and the Nintendo Switch. However, in 2020 and 2021, there was a lot of teases and leaks of an upcoming Virtua Fighting game coming out. It all started when Sega announced the Virtua Fighter eSport during Tokyo Game Show last year, but they were very vague about it. It raised a lot of hope in the Virtua Fighting community. Finally, last month, it was confirmed that we were getting a new Virtua Fighting game called Virtua Fighter 5 Ultimate Showdown, or Virtua Fighter eSport in Japan, and the game released exclusively on the PlayStation 4. Finally, we got the game. The game was developed with the help of Yakuza's developer Ryuga Gotoku, as they used the Dragon engine that they used on the Yakuza 6, and then later on the other Yakuza releases, including the Yakuza Collection remasters, Yakuza 3, Yakuza 4, Yakuza 5. So while the game looks beautiful and improved thanks to the new engine, does it play beautifully? Let's find out. So as soon as you launch the game, you see every option laid out for you really well. No need for lobbies or anything like that. Everything you need is there on the main menu, such as rank matches, room matches, arcade, offline versus, training mode, customization, and all sorts of options to improve your experience with the game. Those coming back straight from Virtua Fighter 5 Final Showdown, like me, although I haven't played it in many years, will find out that the game is almost identical to it, keeping the same 3-button layout, that being guard, kick, and punch. It also kept a lot of the commands, same frame rate, and combo. So if you still have all that within your memory, then coming back to Ultimate Showdown might be a breeze. I love how simple it was to learn the basics, with a lot of the execution being hard to master, but fun and rewarding once you really get into it. However, I still got much to learn, especially since I haven't picked up the series since Final Showdown came out in 2012. But it really reminded me how Final Showdown was one of the most fun experiences I had with 3D fighting games. While I love how rank and room matches are laid out straight on the main menu, I really dislike there's a lack of player matches or quick matches or any sort of equivalent to that. While I had no issues playing with friends in room matches, when I wanted to play with randoms, it was really hard to find any players because it was really hard to find a room, as either they left the room every time I went in, I guess because they wanted to play for friend, or a lot of them were full. So I had really a bad time playing with randoms, especially because a lot of my friends didn't have the time to play at the same time that I wanted to play the game. I personally also had a hard time finding ranked matches, but I think that might be because of my lone rank, because I didn't really play online much when I got the code last Friday. And last week there was only like 10 players, including Maximilian dude. So it's kind of understandable that I can't really find any matches when there's only 10 people with the game and they're not really playing the game at the same time as me. Arcade mode is similar to previous entries in the series and just like many other fighting games, so you already know what to expect from it. In this one, you fight 7 opponents, with Akira being the last one, and after you beat Akira, you get Duro, and once you beat Duro, that's it. Duro isn't really playable, it's not a playable character in this game, however. I'm not entirely sure what I did to get the continue option once I lost to Duro the first time, but when the other times I lost to Duro, I didn't really touch anything. I just let it play. Like I saw the replay screen, and then after the replay screen, it said like you lose, and then it sent me straight to the credits, and then that led to the game over screen. So I don't know if for some reason, I mean, there is a continue option because I did it the first time, so I don't know what I had to press to have that option. Because I press X and it skip, and I press start and it also skipped, so I'm not sure what I have to do. One of my biggest gripes with versus mode is that once you select a character but want to change your mind, pressing back asks you right away if you want to go back to the main menu. I always dislike that when fighting games did that. There's no point of keeping that in console releases of games. While the character select menu is fine, I also wish that we could have a look at the character models to see how they look like, especially with the different custom options that the game offers once you buy the DLC, and once the swimsuits or bikini DLC drops as well. Minus the two retro costumes that the DLC offers, the only way you can see them is through the customization menu, which is only available if you buy the DLC. So I guess in the long term, once you see how the custom look like, it all comes down to memorization of which slot is which and which slot do you use for your custom character. While the character customization is good enough, I feel like it's not as robust compared to Final Showdown. But that's probably because it's similar to it, they plan to release more DLC as time goes, similar to the swimsuit DLC. While it may not compare to Skullgirls or Killer Instinct training options, Virtua Fighter 5 Ultimate Showdown is still one of the best. It offers tutorials showing you the ins and outs of the game, and a command mode similar to the likes of King of Fighters 13 and many fighting games, and a free training mode allowing you to train freely, especially after learning a lot from the above options. The options within free training mode are more simple enough, and it offers all you need for the most part. With the game being available air quotes for free on PlayStation Plus as well as PlayStation Now, there's no excuse to pass out on this. While I wouldn't stream a fighting game or any competitive video game, it might have the option to download it, but I'm not entirely sure because I don't have a PlayStation Now subscription. However, for the very few that don't have either one, the game is going to be $30, or it is $30, which is very cheap for a fighting game, and definitely worth the price. Additionally, if you want a DLC, if you have a PlayStation, you claim the game for free on PlayStation Plus and you want the DLC, it's $10, which offers a lot of costumes, the retro skins, a retro stage, and a lot more. It has the soundtrack from the previous games, which are really cool. And that's not included in the PlayStation Plus version, so you should definitely pay the $10 because it's worth it. As for PlayStation Now, I'm not entirely sure if it's the whole package or you have to pay again the $10 if you want a DLC. I don't have a PlayStation Now subscription. I'm not entirely sure how it works because I only play a few games with it. But either way, like I said, those $10 are worth it, and it's the only way you will get access to the additional costumes as well as the additional cosmetics to customize your character. I am really glad that Virtua Fighter is back, and hopefully we get more releases after this one. I give Virtua Fighter 5 Ultimate Showdown an 8 out of 10.